Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chum Change, just live and recorded. I appreciate you guys showing up. Good to see you all. This is Wednesday, November 1st. Where is this year gone? It's crazy. I was looking at the date today when I was typing it in the thumbnail, and I'm like, man, it's already November. Like 2 months, then we're doing taxes again. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. Anyways, we're going to be talking about so apparently X is a walking disaster. I guess they've been losing a whole bunch of revenue throughout the time since Elon Musk has taken it over. So I don't know. I guess we're just going to watch that. We're going to talk about Sam Bankman-Fried's trial. Can he get let off innocent because of drugs that he was prescribed, and now they may have messed with his mental state? I don't know. We're going to listen to a few things, but anyways, let's see who's here in the chat. I don't know if anybody else went trick-or-treating last night with their kids, but it was damn cold up here. I'm not going to lie. Steven Cicero, good to see you, buddy. Let's see. Leo Lustig, Andrew Masad, Dumpster Fire, Luke. I was not putting away 237 boxes of Halloween decor. I just got up late because it was a long night. Damn it. All set. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. We have 56, my man, in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Dan R, Chris Hanley. Let's see. Sadie, sometimes. Steven Cicero. B-Lubs, good to see you. Good to see you. And TD. Anybody else I may have missed, I apologize. But let's check out this market. I actually totally forgot, and my computer is lagging. Don't know why it's lagging. That's weird. All right. Anyways, I totally forgot that. Oh, there we go. GeForce thing. NVIDIA, damn updates right now. We have Solana. Look at Solana. Look at this. It is pumping 38.95. Holy hell. Congrats to everybody in Discord that jumped on Solana, because that's crazy. Anyways, let's see this. BTC 34,426. We have Ethereum at 1,800 bucks. Doge is just above 6.5 cents. We have Matic at 62. Let's see what else do we got. Everything else is pretty much red. We have $2.28 on Render. Filecoin $3.73. ADA is at 28 cents. XRP at 60 cents. BNB 224. Check out crypto bubbles over here. Check out the week real quick. So on the week, Solana is up 21.2%. It's a crazy jump. Crazy jump on Solana. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, there must be some news that I missed. I don't know, but Gasp is up 3.8% on the day. Back over, oh wow, look at that, back over 5 cents, 515. Nice. We have Roll Bitcoin 11.2% today. Theta, was that how you say it? Theta, how do you say that? Theta Network 7.4% today. We have Injective 3.7. Neo is 6.2 up. Rune 1.4. XDC 1.9. TRX plus 2%. Not too bad. Wemix, oh man, this thing's still around. Weird. Up 2.3%. All right, let's try not to blind you guys. Let's go to the crypto fear and greed index. We're looking at 66. Again, it's not too bad. It's still greedy, but not bad overall. Top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, XRP, USDC, Solana, Ladder Staked, Ether, Cardano, and Dogecoin. Litecoin still in 17th. Bitcoin Cash in 18th. Shiba in 19th. All right, let's check out the miners of the day. Let's see what is the most profitable. Again, we're still here with the Windminer K9. We have the Bitmain Antminer KS3, 9.4 terahash on the top along with that. So 136 bucks for the K9 and $123 for the KS3. That's the 9.4 terahash. Again, the KS2, let's see, that's getting 25 bucks a day. We have the KS1, $12 a day, more or less. The X16Q Jazzminer looks like mining ETC and ZIL is actually most profitable. We're getting $5.20 a day. Not too bad. Not too bad. Let's look at the KS Pro. You know what? I'm hoping we'll be able to review one of these units. This is the 200 gigahash 100 watt Caspa miner, $2.57 a day. And then we have the regular Ice River KS0 at $1.24 a day. The new KS0 is $4.29. Really? They're only charging $4.29 for the Pro? What? Are you sure? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Let me see. Ice River. Yes. Iceriver.io. Before we get into today's stuff, I want to see now. Oh, there it is. Wow. Wait, did they take? Hold on. Hold on. Did they get rid of the regular KS0? It's not here no more. It's not here no more, which makes me think they just updated something and then it's going to come out and we'll be able to update ours, but I doubt it because mine won't hold anything over the 120. But weird. That's weird. They don't have the regular KS0 anymore. Huh. Very, very interesting. Well, that's learn something new every day. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for that, Mr. Andrew Masad. All right, let's get into this. So Sam Bankman-Fried's defense rests and closing arguments begin Wednesday. So let's see what happened yesterday. And yeah, we'll go from there. Let's do it. If you guys have any questions, add me in the chat. Hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out.
Today, Sam Bankman-Fried wraps up his testimony in his fraud trial. Terraform Labs co-founder Daniel Shin reportedly tries to distance himself from Do Kwon in his own trial, and Brian Mossoff of Ether Capital reacts to growing hype for crypto-focused ETFs.
More ETF talk, love it.
Welcome to CBC's Crypto World. I'm Jordan Smith. Cryptocurrencies mixed this morning, with Bitcoin taking a break from its recent gains. It's down about 1% by noon Eastern. Ether, meanwhile, down about 1.5%, while Solana gaining about 3%.
And now it's like $2 higher than that. Real quick, sorry, Mr. Dan R said the KS0 Pro is just a firmware update from the KS0. Does Ice River have that publicly, or is it like a behind the scenes update, you think? Because I'm kind of I don't know. I'm interested. I would like to try it because I guess the other original firmware update, or not the original one, I guess you'd call it the bootlegged version, right? It was just some GitHub that somebody kind of did on their own. It wasn't like official from Ice River. So I would like to know if we can get our hands on that Ice River one, because I would totally try it on my regular KS0. And Luke, I do not, unfortunately, but I could find out later today for you.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. The UK government is looking into formal legislation to regulate crypto. On Monday, it published an official response to a consultation paper from earlier this year, which laid out recommendations for regulating crypto, like stricter guidelines on custodians and risky loans. The government said in this latest statement that it intends to bring crypto under the same rules that govern banks and other financial services. And the country's financial services minister said in a statement he looked forward to, quote, making our vision a reality for the UK as a global hub for crypto asset technology. Next, Terraform Labs co-founder Daniel Shin is reportedly trying to distance himself from Do Kwon. Shin is on trial in South Korea for multiple charges surrounding the collapse of Terra Luna, charges that he reportedly denies. South Korean news outlet Manawa Broadcasting reports that Shin's lawyer said the businessman parted ways with Do Kwon for business purposes back in 2020, and that the collapse of the stablecoin and its token have nothing to do with Shin. And finally, let's pivot to the SBF trial. Sam Bankman-Fried took the stand once again today to wrap up his testimony. We told you about how Sam made the effort to lay out his own perspective for the collapse of FTX, including claiming much of the responsibility fell on Caroline Ellison and FTX's attorneys. Well, prosecutors got the chance to question him too, and Sam Bankman-Fried became less direct. A large majority of his responses to the prosecutor's questions were a simple yep or I don't recall. The judge even stepped in at times to ask SBF to just answer the question. Now, when asked about just how much he and the company used private jets, he did admit that he authorized spending for private planes to deliver Amazon packages to the Bahamas, but said he didn't know if he spent $15 million on private jets for his own travel. He was asked about investing in media companies too, including The Block, and whether he gave $15 million toward the CEO's purchase of an apartment. Sam started by saying he didn't know, but ended up saying, quote, we might have. When asked if he saw a spreadsheet from Caroline Ellison with 7 versions of the company balance sheet, SBF said he didn't recall, despite Google metadata showing that he reviewed the spreadsheet in June of 2022. Sam also told the court he deeply regretted not taking a deeper look into the $8 billion bug that allowed Alameda to rack up so much debt. So now that Sam has wrapped up his testimony, his defense has rested and the jury has been sent home. We'll get closing arguments tomorrow.
Real quick, so Sasquatch Crap said the pro case is different, and Dan R thinks it is a behind-the-scenes update. Yeah, I'm pretty positive that it's I don't know. It looks, real quick before they let them talk, it looks like the same damn thing to me, man. I got one, and if this is the KS0 Pro image, that case is straight up the same thing. It's 100% the same. There's no different. Literally nothing different. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if they show the backside. No, they don't. They don't even show the underside. So yeah, it's literally the same exact case. It's not different. Nope, not different. All right, sorry. Didn't mean to cut that off. Let's continue.
All right, for our main story, Crypto World's Talia Kaplan sat down with Brian Mossoff, the CEO of Ether Capital. They discussed moving the industry past the fall of FTX and growing bullishness around crypto ETFs.
All eyes are on the trial of Sam Bankman-Fried right now, especially here in New York City, where the trial is taking place. And a lot of new information has come to the surface, things that we didn't necessarily know before. Of course, this trial is getting a lot of media attention. So how is this all impacting the crypto industry?
I think a lot of people in the digital asset industry are ready to move past FTX. And so people want to move past this trial. They want to focus on building. They want to focus on what's next. We'd like to see regulation passed so that the crypto trading platforms that are based in the US or in other jurisdictions are able to be compliant. And so as much as people are following the case and are curious just exactly what went on the inside, I think many in the industry who are good actors and passionate about the space are happy to see that this is going to be a thing of the past. Let's get rid of a bad actor or a bad set of actors. And let's focus back on building and making sure that these businesses can operate here and be successful here and continue to grow the industry.
Now, obviously, the collapse of FTX has led to an erosion of trust in the crypto industry, and people are still skeptical about crypto. They're still a little apprehensive about getting into crypto markets because of all the negative publicity surrounding things like the collapse of FTX. So what do you think it will take for confidence to be restored in crypto and for people to feel comfortable in investing in crypto markets?
Real quick, Mr. Mining King, thank you so much for the 199 super chat. He says Magic China boxes for the win.
It's important for people to remember that the failure of FTX was not a problem specific to crypto or Bitcoin or Ethereum. The protocols or the assets themselves were fine. This is just a bad actor and a bad group of people who are operating in a nefarious way. And we've seen this time and time again through traditional finance as well as the crypto industry. This was a governance problem. This was an issue with lack of controls and checks and balances. And so I think as you start to see regulation form and local platforms figure out exactly who their regulatory body is that they're going to report to, there's going to be more clarity and an understanding of what types of things will be expected from users of those platforms, what regulators are going to want to see. And so that's good for the industry. The catalyst at this point to go forward, what's going to bring retail sentiment back, what is going to bring institutional interest back to the space, which I argue is already here. I think you have a number of catalysts on the way. One main one being the US filing of a number of spot Bitcoin ETFs. And given the macro environment and inflation not necessarily getting as under control as central banks would want, a lot of interest is going to turn back to these assets. The value proposition of Bitcoin hasn't changed. You have something that is untethered to central banking policy. It doesn't change the monetary policy based on the political whims or agenda of any jurisdiction. And that's very powerful. And whether it's in or out of fashion year to year, if people can zoom out and look at what's happening globally and on a longer time frame, 5 years, 10 years, they can see that what Bitcoin and Ethereum in this space offers is something very powerful, something far more native to the internet, currency that's governed by people globally, not by any agenda of one jurisdiction. And so that is going to be the catalyst coming up. When you stack on the Bitcoin halving next year, which is a reduction in the new Bitcoin that's issued to Bitcoin miners as they solve blocks, there's a number of things that are queuing up 2024 to be a very important year for these assets. And as the price starts to move back up, you'll see investors coming back with renewed interest. The headlines will start to shift to what the value propositions are. And the asset class will move on.
So expanding on that, I recently did a report on what could potentially spark Bitcoin's next bull run. And industry insiders I spoke with pointed to 3 catalysts. 1 was regulatory clarity. 2 were those applications for spot Bitcoin ETFs. And then 3 was that key technical event called the Bitcoin halving. So you actually mentioned all 3 of them. But do you think those same catalysts can, in fact, also help catapult Ethereum into its next bull run?
All of the assets are tethered together. If one outpaces the other, that's a different conversation. But I think that renewed interest in the space or a rise in the price of Bitcoin will also lift up Ethereum. Whether they move exactly in tandem or not, we'll see. My prediction would be that they wouldn't move exactly together. I think that new dollars are going to flow specifically into Bitcoin, especially if it's through vehicles like a structured product like these spot ETFs that will hopefully be approved soon in the US. So the new money is probably going to go first to Bitcoin. The other thing about Bitcoin is the narrative is very clean, right? It doesn't have this very nuanced story of a smart contract platform and DeFi and NFTs and metaverse and what you can program and move money around on the platform. Bitcoin is this very simple, hard cap, digital gold, store of value, neutral political form of money or asset, commodity, whatever you want to bucket it into. It's very simple. For investors to buy into any of the other digital assets, they have to go a little bit further and try and understand, well, who's going to use that instead, or what's the power of that protocol? So Ethereum still has a lot going for it. It always has. So far, there's been close to $1 billion of revenue that's been paid to the protocol. So this is people using the Ethereum network to perform, various types of transactions, and they're paying a transaction fee. And they're paying those transaction fees to the validators and the people securing the network. So by all metrics, Ethereum is right up there with Bitcoin in terms of usage and how important it is to the ecosystem. But how the price moves relative from one to the other, we'll see over time.
In 2021, your company, Ether Capital, helped launch the world's first spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. And now, earlier this month, we learned that Grayscale announced plans to try and convert its Ethereum trust into a spot ETF. Of course, this comes after Grayscale scored a victory over the SEC, a court victory, when regarding its plans to convert its Bitcoin trust into a spot Bitcoin ETF. So what do you make of all those developments right there?
I think if Grayscale or any provider who has a trust or a closed-end fund is able to convert those into a spot ETF, that's a win for unit holders. It's the ability for them to redeem or sell their shares at NAV instead of at a discount. And so that's a win for everyone. There actually is risk to Grayscale in doing that because some people may decide to sell their units and move their dollars into a different product. But they understand that this is what's best for the investors. It's been a long time coming. People all understand that spot ETFs are a far more efficient product for investors relative to closed-end funds or futures-based ETFs. And so the sooner we can get access points like spot Bitcoin or spot ETH ETFs out into the market, that's a win for institutional and retail investors.
That's, you know what? I wonder if Grayscale, that's who they said, right? Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, Grayscale moves to convert the Ethereum trust. I wonder if there's any other Ethereum spot ETF applications. Do you guys know if there is? Let me know in the chat if you guys know. I can look it up later, but that's kind of cool. I think, honestly, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are both going to pump with the ETF news because, I mean, they're pretty much ride the line together, right? When they have a pump. All right, let's get into Altcoin Daily's video. It's over. Sam Bankman-Fried trial is getting absurd, and this is over here. He has a timestamp section of a conversation that another podcast had. It said the one way SBF could be declared innocent, and this was kind of strange. So we're gonna obviously it's gonna get to that. But guys, hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
We just got out of the courthouse, and I think it's pretty fair to say that at this moment, it just feels like it's over for Sam Bankman-Fried. Honestly, if before lunch it felt like we were witnessing a murder, then afterward we were witnessing somebody just stab a dead body over and over and over and over and over again.
The trial of Sam Bankman-Fried is happening now.
What? Did she just say that? Is that a news lady? Is that a news lady? That's so awful to say. Hold on, listen to that.
Honestly, if before lunch it felt like we were witnessing a murder, then afterward we were witnessing somebody just stab a dead body over and over and over and over and over again.
The trial of Sam Bankman-Fried is happening now. It actually started weeks ago. We're near a month in. And while this is not being televised, nor are any electronic recording devices allowed in the courtroom, the coverage we're getting from multiple crypto journalists who are there, they sit in, they report back, is wild.
And oh my God, I'm like still numb from today. I don't even know what I feel or what I think. That's not true. I have so many thoughts and feelings and I'm going to share all of them right now. But Sam, we finished getting the direct questioning of Sam by his own defense counsel, and then he was cross-examined. And I think I said last week that there's a chance Sam was going to get obliterated in cross-examination. I mean, I definitely think you could make a solid argument that Sam got obliterated in cross-examination today.
Basically, Danielle Sassoon, again, trotted out multiple statements that Sam Bankman-Fried made and multiple statements where he contradicted those statements.
Oh, so this lady's Unchained Crypto, I guess? She's not like a news lady. It's got her own YouTube channel.
Yeah, you know, was often evasive. She just caught him in so many things. She got him to admit that...
Overall, high level, it looks like Sam Bankman-Fried's strategy is essentially saying he doesn't remember anything. When asked difficult questions, or even not so difficult questions like, do you remember saying this in an interview? It sounds like Sam's go-to responses are, I don't recall, or no, but I may have, or I don't specifically remember that, or I don't know exactly what you're referring to there, or just, I don't remember. When the government then proceeds to pull up hard evidence of him making certain statements or signing specific documents, Sam will then say things like, well, I'm not saying that I didn't say that, or I vaguely remember that, or I don't remember that. So he basically just seems unwilling to give a straight answer or take any responsibility for things that he said or did, and is instead just going the route of being incredibly evasive and cagey and difficult and overall quite unlikable. Throughout Sam's cross-examination, I even added little notes like, I want to smack him and dickhead.
And I do
Real quick, Carl Coate in the chat said people are lining up at 4 a.m. to get into this trial. Is that real? Are people seriously lining up to get into that trial? That's crazy if so.
I want to give full credit to the podcasters and the citizen journalists that are there. We have Laura Shin of the Unchained podcast, Tiffany Fong on YouTube and Twitter as Tiffany Fong, and Carly of Overpriced JPEGs. Links to all channels down below. Highly recommend.
Overpriced JPEGs. That's such a random name for a channel
to follow. And while you can just tell that yes, we are 4 weeks into this trial, SBF has taken the stand and it does not seem it's going well. This is building and building and building. And even if we go all the way back to just day 2, the reaction to Sam Bankman-Fried's lawyers, his defense, wasn't that much better.
All right, today was definitely the spiciest, just like overview, the spiciest day of the trial so far. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, day 1 was boring, day 2 was getting more interesting, but today we got some real insiders talking.
And we're gonna talk a little bit about everything that happened today, and then we'll break it down. I just want to say, like up top, high level, it is not looking good for Sam thus far. I mean, we're early in this trial, but it almost already feels hard to think of the defense climbing out of this hole.
Yes, the prosecution has a very straightforward, easy to understand Exhibit A. You committed fraud. It seems pretty straightforward.
And by contrast, the defense is what?
It's very convoluted. Sam's legal team is not doing so great.
It literally seems almost non-existent. Look, I trust that these lawyers that Sam has, and again, we'll get into more specifics in just a minute, but like, I trust his lawyers. Obviously, they're well paid, they're very smart, they must be good. I just have to assume there's like a lot that they've been told they can't bring up in court. Yes. Like, that would be helpful to them. Like, it's actually kind of confusing because the defense seems so bad. Mm-hmm. Certainly relative to the prosecution.
I don't think they made any strong points today.
So again, that was day 2. We're now on week 4. And while just today, the defense rests, meaning the jury will soon deliberate. This is something you'll probably tell your grand...
Is that supposed to be him? Is that supposed to be him? I think it's a perfect picture. They did a good job. See that? Look at that. Look at that perfect imagery right there of Sam Bankman-Fried. This strapping young fellow. That looks awful. That's not even close to him.
Kids about. There's one way that SBF could be declared innocent. One way.
We're basically workshopping what his only shot of his defense would be, right?
Well, and think about it, Sachs.
But again, just to make things very clear, this was the outcome of the last 2 days.
I mean, look, you never know how a jury is reacting to something, but if the reaction of all of us is anything to go on, and frankly, and you'll hear a little bit about this later probably, like I'm probably more sympathetic to him than a lot of folks today, and I'll get into that, but like, it was bad. I don't know what his strategy was here, but he basically refused to answer anything straightforwardly or directly, even when it seemed very benign to do so.
He tried to evade her many, many times. There was this one moment where it was a little bit torturous about like who was the board member of Alameda or something, and there was only one, which was him. There was another time when she wanted him to like admit something about preventing clawbacks, and since he wasn't doing it, she brought up a document and she said, like the top of it said something, you know, how does Alameda prevent blah blah blah, or how does Alameda do something, I don't remember. And then the next header underneath it was preventing clawbacks. And she asked him to read what was below it, but instead of reading that, he read the text under that header. So she had to ask him to read the header. And he said, the first word is preventing, the second word is clawbacks. So he refused to say preventing clawbacks. I mean, it just went on and on. Like, it was, it's like, it was, just, I don't know. Like I said, I felt like I was watching somebody just beat a dead body.
I even added little notes like, I want to smack
watching somebody beat a dead body. Why do they keep saying that? That's so terrible.
him and dickhead. I can't imagine any members of the jury reading this favorably. I will also say that Sam being unwilling to admit to broad statements that he's clearly made, like stating that FTX is a safe exchange, to which he's responded that he does not recall making any statements like that, even though he very clearly has, in my opinion, absolutely damages his credibility and every word out of his mouth.
She caught him in something where, like, he said he didn't have access to the AWS database. But then she pointed out that actually after FTX filed for bankruptcy, he had, one of the first things he had done is he kept asking the FTX estate to reestablish his access to the AWS database. She asked him something like, oh, did you, say that you wanted to call the broker for Robinhood to see if they would just like hand over the shares to you without thinking too much about it? And he was like, he was evasive on that. And then so she pulled up a Google document in which he had written that as a note to himself. I mean, it was like on and on and on and on and on.
And I don't even know why Sam bothered with this whole shtick, because first of all, it was incredibly frustrating to watch. And secondly, just putting myself in the juror's shoes, if this guy is being dishonest about or unable to admit to statements that we have clear, hard evidence for, how are we supposed to believe his answers to tougher questions like, did you knowingly steal FTX customer funds? Needless to say, Sam is now learning why he should not have done these post-collapse interviews.
There were moments when she asked him questions and he would just have his head kind of bowed down for a little while. Multiple people noticed that he had like a kind of different attitude after, like a little bit, what's the word? Kind of, like resentful, like a little bit like that thing about the first word is preventing, the second word is clawbacks, like a little bit of an attitude. I can't imagine that sort of thing going over well with the jury. So
now, again, the defense rests. Laura Shin gives a final update on what to expect next. But while it does look like SBF may be going away for a long, long time, the besties on the All In podcast do discuss the one thing that Sam Bankman-Fried could be declared innocent, and this would be genius.
It's actually a fast.
See, I jumped forward to this part just to see what this was about, and I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna hold up, but if they pulled this BS and they let him off because of this shit, it would be wild.
Defense strategy. I think this is their only shot. One of our besties had this theory that he was prescribed 2 prescription drugs. One was Adderall. What was the other one called? This was not a drug.
ESAM? The patch.
It's a drug I wasn't familiar with. I guess it's a patch. But when you combine these two things, apparently it basically shuts down or kills the part of your brain that deals with
inhibition.
It's
cocaine. Yeah.
What if his defense strategy was, like only an insane person would do this, and I was acting insane because I was prescribed these drugs that had these drug conflicts, and it like killed part of my brain. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it,
what if every criminal on Wall Street said cocaine is my defense?
But this, you could say maybe he was legally prescribed it if you could show the prescription. By the way, I'm not saying this should get him off. We're basically workshopping what his only shot of his defense would be, right?
Well, and think about it, Sachs. He acted manic after FTX collapsed. So that mania of doing 20 Twitter spaces would be
There's something so insane about what he did, right? It's almost like a...
What do you think? Give me your take on that down
You just like cut him off right there. What the hell? I was looking forward to hearing more of that.
below in the comment section. I seriously would love to know your thoughts, innocent or guilty. Comment down below.
The only way that you could come up with that is like you'd have to have two parents that were like law professors or something.
All right. Most loathsome company, FTX
What if
for me.
this is his defense, you know?
Yeah, my parents. Boo-hoo.
No. He'll claim insanity, J. Cal. He'll say,
Of course, yeah.
and they'll have I mean, do we think that his parents aren't going to help his defense?
The defense rests. The jurors will soon deliberate. Where are we today?
And so, yeah, so now this afternoon we'll be going over, the judge and the lawyers will be hashing out the instructions for the jury. So anyway, that's the update.
Click subscribe.
Man, that's crazy. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for that video. Guys, make sure you go check them out and subscribe to them if you're not. Altcoin Daily has awesome videos. All right, last and final, I want to talk about this, I guess, walking disaster, which is, or used to be Twitter, which is now X. Kevin O'Leary talks on CNBC television alongside somebody else. Honestly, I don't even know, but it says monthly US ad revenue is down 55% year over year for Twitter or X. That's kind of crazy, right? So let's see what they have to say here. A 5-minute clip, and then we'll do a little AMA. And yes, my kid decided to come down and visit.
So where does X, which punches above its weight in things like the media, us, go from here? Let's talk about it with our A-list panel. O'Leary Ventures Chair and Shark Tank's Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, and 1789 Capital founder and president Omid Maliki is one of the investors backing new media projects on X and is bullish on its future. Gentlemen, both, thank you for joining us. I know, Kevin, you've been very bullish on the Facebook, Meta, Instagram creation called Threads. I've been posting there a little bit as of lately. It's a little bit lonely there yet. They claim to have 100 million users. Are you leaving X, or are you just trying to split your business to both?
No, I'm very, very agnostic. You know, I've got 40 companies. We aggregate about 2.5 million a month worth of spending. We also do remnant cable. We do network. We do everything. And so we only care about customer acquisition cost and ROAS, return on advertising spend. We love every single platform, and we're very promiscuous. We'll just move from one to the other every Tuesday morning. So I don't really care at all. If I can get the lowest cost, the path of least resistance, I spend my millions there. Right now, we're not spending anything on Twitter. It's the only platform that we're looking at now. And because, you know, once you get past 8 million followers of your own, and I enjoy that, I'm my own network, so I can actually sell my own time, my own network. And I work with many, many other influencers. So we share our data. Twitter is shrinking right now. But I want to say right out of the gate, I'm a huge Elon fan. I think he'll fix it. But I'm not spending any money there. I'm getting zero return there. So why would I put dollars there?
There's so much.
You think fixing it, though? Like, I don't know. I honestly think like half of this has to do with him changing the name of a very, very famous like platform. Like, why would you change a name from Twitter to X? It doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that.
By the way, I've seen charts. People can make a chart that represents anything. I call it chart crime, right? You can make a chart that makes it look terrible, but it's actually a minor move, just depending on the y-axis. Is Twitter shrinking that much?
It's slowed in the last 2 weeks. I look at this data weekly. It's slowed.
Kevin?
It's the growth is the shrink is slowing.
Okay, Omid?
Yeah, not at all. And I think we just need a bit of context here. What was Twitter pre-Elon? Pre-Elon, Twitter was a government agency. That's raison d'etre was two things: destroying shareholder value and suppressing the constitutional rights of Americans. Let's take the latter for just a second. During COVID, that platform, at the behest of the Biden administration and the FBI, respectively, suppressed truthful information about Hunter Biden's laptop and other factual events about COVID, whether cloth masks were effective or whether the vaccine shot would stop spread. You were deplatformed. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Go look at the Twitter files or review Missouri versus Biden or Berenson versus Biden that's making its way up to the Supreme Court. And we'll see that the government used Twitter in order to violate our First Amendment rights. That's horrible. So he's
not wrong there. He's really not, because everybody would get censored. You talk about, you know, the C word at all. It was like you're getting videos removed or kicked off of like anything, YouTube, Twitter, it didn't matter.
alone, if you care about the Constitution, it's an improvement to have Musk there. Let's now talk about the fundamentals for a second, okay? The second part of this. People forget that Twitter peaked at around 60 billion of market cap. And before anyone knew that Musk was interested in buying it, it had dropped 50% to around 30 billion of market cap. They lost over $1 billion in 2020 and $200 million in 2021. Okay, so this was the worst social media outfit out there. It was a dead company, and we'll get into what Musk is going to do to resurrect it. But it has nothing to do with what Kevin's talking about. They don't need to be relying on advertising. He's already introduced subscription revenue that's making hundreds of millions of dollars a year to mitigate what he's lost in advertising revenue. And long term, this is going to be the everything app, where you're going to get people on there for content, which I've invested in. And secondarily, it's going to be in payments. If you can make this a payment processor, you've changed the game.
Can it be, Omid, could it be smaller than it was in terms of just the number of people or bots, fake people, right? Just absolute numbers. Could it be smaller, but more profitable?
Well, of course. He's reduced operating expenses as well, which is another thing he's done. He's reduced the staff by over 50%. Thousands of those people, nobody knew what they were even doing there. So you're going to reduce operating costs. It doesn't matter what the top line revenue was when it was public. They were just bleeding cash and destroying revenue. So here you can make less revenue and be a profitable business. And that's exactly where he's headed. He has 350 million users approximately. Let's imagine even 10% of those started using this as a payments platform once he gets those licenses, which they're indicating will happen by 2024. It's an absolute game changer. You'll match the same revenue, but you'll do it on a profitable basis. That's what I'm betting.
Kevin?
You bet you're betting that, because that's not even proven. If your social media platform, what matters right now is reaching people, and shrinking, that doesn't work for you. And it is the only social media platform I know right now that's shrinking. And so at the end of the day, it maybe turns around. Facts are this equity, forget about the debt, the 40 billion plus valuation has been marked down by Fidelity by 2/3. Look, I'm not saying Elon can't fix it, and I've said already I'm a huge fan. But this thing,
dude, that's absurd. It was bought for 44 billion. It's only worth 19. That's crazy.
Is a walking disaster right now. And until I can see how I make money advertising on it, I'm not going to touch it. Why would I? I have so many choices. It's so competitive. The metrics on how you measure the stuff are every 12-hour cycles. So at the end of the day, you put an ad out on Twitter. If you don't get a return on it 12 hours later, you just move somewhere else. The entire market is very, very in flux. Things are changing all the time. I want him to succeed. I'm a huge fan. He's a fantastic entrepreneur. But maybe this one is a howling dog from hell.
Shout out to CNBC television. All right. Well, as you guys already saw, I had my kids down here. Things are going crazy. So I got to get back to daddy duty. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It kind of sucks that Twitter or Elon changed the name from Twitter to X. I'm not even a huge Twitter guy in general. I never was. But I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. And I feel like he only hurt himself more than he helped out the platform. That's kind of my opinion on that. But let me see if you guys have any other questions. Geek of All Trades said that Ice River tweeted on Twitter or X that the new KS0 Pro is $429, as we've already seen right here. You guys can see I showed this right at the beginning. This 200 giga hash. So they don't even have the regular KS0 on here anymore. It's literally just the KS0 Pro. So $429. That's a pretty good deal, I guess. But I don't know, man. I still don't know, right? Looking at these, 429 bucks, right? 200 giga hashes. Let's go back to this. We're making $2.57 per day. So what do we got? What was it? 429 divided by, let's say, 257. 166 days to ROI. I mean, maybe that's a good deal, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that worth it? Is it not? I mean, it's only going to get worse as more miners come out. So realistically, it's probably going to take you at least a year to ROI on these machines. I don't know. I would like to buy one, but at the same time, I'd rather, to be honest, just invest in Caspa. I think that's probably a better deal. That's just my opinion. I don't know. And if you guys haven't seen Solana, look at that. Solana's killing it. 39 bucks now. Insane. Caspa's up again. Like I said, 4.14% at 5.1. So everything's going pretty good. All right, guys, hopefully you have a great and happy November 1st. It is hump day, Wednesday, 2 more days to the end of the week. Tomorrow, just so you guys know, I'm gonna go live in the morning. It's gonna be a little iffy on Friday and Saturday. I'm gonna be going on a trip, so gonna be remote streaming probably in the morning on the car. I don't know how it's gonna go. We're gonna see. And then Saturday will probably be a hotel room with my man Geek of All Trades. So we'll have a dual stream. It's gonna be neat. First time meeting him, super excited about it. But anyways, guys, have a good day. Catch you soon. Happy hump day and peace out.